Now, I ain't one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicles Speak. So if you all remember, I did a video back in November about the Bobbi Kristina Serenity House and how Bobbi's wife Alicia's name was on it, and Bobbi's sister Leolah was completely livid and decided to tell it all in her Facebook post. Now, I discussed in that post that Leolah has always been right about the deaths of both Whitney Houston and also Bobbi Kristina. Well, that still stands true, and I went to go visit Leolah for the weekend back in the beginning of January, and I interviewed her about this absolutely jaw-dropping story. Now, due to situations beyond my control, that video will not be released. However, she did go on Facebook Live yesterday and pretty much reiterated everything that was told to me in our interview. So I decided to piece that together along with some discrepancies that were told to us in the media and show you that despite anything, I still wholeheartedly believe that Leolah is telling the truth, and these deaths were indeed, like she said, an elaborate cover-up. First and foremost, the media led us to believe that Chrissy was unresponsive the entire time. That's absolutely not true. Now again, I've always believed Leolah, but I fact-checked her story and everything she said came out to be the truth. Now upon researching, I see that Brandy B, who happened to be Whitney Houston's goddaughter, referred the Brown family to a prophet, Dr. Jolie Harris. And I looked him up and I found a video, and when I tell y'all, this story will have you looking at this story completely differently and bring tears to your eyes. Please just make sure you watch it, and I'll be back with some more.
Coma. I was told that she had some issues with a liver kidney failing. I was told that that at one point they were saying that she's having breathing problems. So I wasn't sure, and I knew that until I would come to see her myself and let God take a vision inside, I would not know. But that was the scenario that I had to work with. But coming to see her, I knew that I was dealing with a person that had been struck upside the head. I knew that the person was a drowned victim. So I had to come, how do you say, in that light and respect. They said that she was in a coma, but I noticed right away that she was not in a coma. The coma that they stated she was in, because she had motor skills. When you tell the truth, sometimes the truth is so real that it's hard to tell it without tears. But once again, Princess Bobbi Kristina's head was on the bed, and she was laying on a pillow. And when Brandy said, "Look at the prophet, doctor," she raised her head and she was shaking a half an inch. She looked at me and she raised another inch. And then she raised about maybe 2 inches above her pillow and she stared. When she stared at me, she looked through me. When I tell you she looked through me, she knew everything that was in my mind and my heart and my body to do for her. She was in acceptance. Her stare was to let me know that I know you're here. I know God sent you. I know that you're a servant here to do the will. And at that point in time, when she raised her head, it wasn't all the way up, but she raised it enough to let us know that she did with all of her strength, with all of her might, meaning she used her faith, every little bit she had, to let us know that she recognized that God was here to do the will. After walking around her, viewing her, seeing that nothing was connected to her body, I asked Bobbi if I could do a little pressure points with her to check her blood, to see what was alive, to see what was still working. I said, because they're telling you one thing, but I like to see, God wants to see for himself. He wants me to deal with this directly. So Bobbi said, go ahead. So I took Princess Bobbi Kristina's left hand and I went through pressure points of her hand. I took her right hand and I squeezed and went through pressure points of her right. I did her left foot and I did her right foot. When I did her left foot, Princess Bobbi Kristina kicked out. When I pressed the pressure point in her feet, I could feel her blood shoot up the ladder, rush up the vessel, and I could feel the blood run away from me, and I felt her blood coming back. So I said, Bobbi, I have 1 gallon of juice here to take care of all of her organs, to restore her life and bring her back and create blood flow. The other gallon of juice we have here is to take care of seizures, aneurysms, tumors. everything that has affected her brain, including the water, everything, to open the mind and to release and open cells and allow the brain to restore and refunction. I had made the juice in a way that it could be put into a feeding tube. So I knew that there would be the possibility that she could take nothing in her mouth, and I produced this juice so that it would go through a feeding tube. Pat Houston's decision was 100% no. All the doctors spoke against it. The facility directors, the head nurse, they said no. And Pat Houston said no. She said her reason for saying no, she said that Bobbi Kristina would not want to live being a paraplegic. She said that Bobbi Kristina would not want to live being bedridden. She said Bobbi Kristina would not want to live if she could not sing and dance and perform as she normally does. But the bottom line is it's a life. And we don't let a life go just because some one person don't, or whatever reason, you feel that they should not stay here. One of the doctors stated that they were giving her morphine. The other doctor stated they were giving her food. And so I asked both doctors one at a time, which are you doing? Are you giving the morphine, or are you giving the food, or are you giving the both? And then I asked them the question, are you putting it in the same tube, in the same spot? How is this going in and out the body? So each doctor looked at each other, and one doctor just broke down and told the truth. He told Bobbi, no, we're not feeding her.
I want the world to know that Bobbi Kristina did not die from the bathtub incident. That's not what killed Bobbi Kristina.
What killed Bobbi Kristina?
Bobbi Kristina was starved to death.
And the other doctor said, we're just giving her drips of morphine periodically throughout the day. And so Bobbi said, you mean to tell me that you're not feeding my daughter? And the doctor says, that's correct. We're not feeding her. And when the doctor said that, Bobbi slammed his hands to the table and he screamed as loud as he could. He said, damn it, I don't want my daughter to die with no food. He says, she cannot die with no food. He said, if you guys are not going to feed her, I want the prophet doctor to feed my daughter. I call it a mercenary killing, because if you can do nothing for her, you would have let her pass like every other hospice care center and every other hospital does. You would have just let her die if there's nothing you could do. So what was the purpose of keeping her on morphine for 2 months? It's a mercenary killing when you do this for a reason. Whatever the reason is, I cannot say. But there was a reason her life was put on hold this way, and there was a reason why they, made all of these points to make sure that no food went in her body. I believe that Bobbi Kristina's life could have been saved and would have been saved if Pat Houston would have allowed us to put the herbs in her body. And the reason why I believe her life would have been saved is because we've helped many people in the same situation and in worse situations than Bobbi Kristina.
I'm telling y'all, piecing this story together will really have you thinking differently. Now, within talking to Leolah and even on her Facebook live post, she mentioned that Chrissy was found in the tub the day before Whitney Houston was found. So she believes that they were trying to get Chrissy first and then get Whitney.
Bobbi Kristina told us that she was standing at the tub, and Bobbi Kristina wasn't high, she hadn't had a drink, and Bobbi Kristina was running a bathtub. She said, and all of a sudden, I guess she blacked out.
Bobbi Kristina told me that she woke up and she was throwing up water out of her lungs, and when she looked up, that there were a lot of security in the room, and she was scared because she didn't know what happened.
You know, we asked her, well, what happened after you got the bathtub? What did you do? She said, for the first time in my life, Mommy and I slept together. And Mommy held me all night.
I can definitely say that Leolah has been on to something for a while, and I think because of previous drug use, these deaths have been thrown to the wayside and automatically assumed that they were taking drugs. Now, with the Whitney Houston situation, I know that her bathtub water was 93 degrees 6 hours after she passed, and that never made sense to me.
She's in a bathtub, and she's not slipped into the bathtub. She's flipped over, and she's face down underwater. And
Indeed.
I think before we went on the air, you said the temperature of the water?
This is perplexing. This is the one thing that got me. When she was declared dead at 3:46 in the afternoon, the temperature of the water was not taken until later that night at 9:35 p.m. and it was 93.5 degrees 6 hours after she was declared dead.
How is that even possible? Can you... is like a self-heating bathtub?
This, according to the detective at the scene who actually took the temperature of the water, and whilst he says there were no signs of foul play, that is an unanswered question, and I feel that this report really provides more questions than it does answers.
My main thing is that drugs nor anything of that kind took Whitney or Bobbi Kristina out of here. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. Whitney didn't have anything in her system, and neither did Bobbi Kristina. Okay? Later, Bobbi Kristina had stuff in her system because she was in the hospital. So, but I want you all to know that Whitney was beaten. She was beaten badly. She had a closed casket. That should have told everybody something. I counted 10 gashes in her chest alone. Okay? So she was bruised up from head to toe, Whitney was. Bobbi Kristina, Nick beat her down. Anybody that's rooting for Nick and saying that they're standing with Nick, well, if that's who you want to stand with, that's fine. They're telling you guys that that drugs took them out and they did stuff to themselves and ended up in the bathtub, but that's not true. None of that stuff is true. I'm going to prove to you that Whitney was damn sure beaten badly. I have to do this for Whitney. I have to. I cannot let them put her name out there like that and lie to you all and make you think that she was on drugs and she took drugs and that's what killed her. No. That's not what happened. Whitney fought for her life. She fought hard. She fought hard to live. She fought. It was a fight that broke out. She was beaten, really bad. You know, they won. They overtook her, but I'm gonna show you all the bruises and everything. I'm gonna get into it. I'm getting into it. Well, I'm the only one that's gonna stand up in my family. Nobody else is gonna do it. They're not. I mean, I know people may want to. They may want to, but a lot of people, everybody's not outspoken as I am. This is what I do. This is what I do. Do I think Ray J and do you all remember when Whitney passed? I can't wait to tell you all when she passed Brandy that note. I know exactly what was in that note. I mean, you know, we have to wake up. Just think about it. What if wouldn't you think that if it was something nice, Brandy would have shown it, right? It would make sense, right? She'd be glad. She said that Whitney was her favorite. She would have been glad to show that if it was something good on that. Yeah, this is what Whitney said to me. She didn't do that because I know what was in that note. I'm talking about that too. So, yeah, we're going to get into it. Whitney was angry. I believe, and I feel like I know what she was angry about and why she passed Brandy that. I believe I got it. Oh, yeah, Alicia knows something. Yes, she does. Just think about it, guys. And I'm not, I mean, I hate to talk about my brother's wife. I don't enjoy doing that. But she started it. I was speaking out against Pat and Nick. And Alicia had the nerve to call a company that I was speaking out the source that I was speaking out from, she reached out to them, contacted them, and told them not to allow me to speak out against Nick and Pat. And if I did, she threatened to shut down Bobby, my brother's relationship with me. Alicia did this. So I'm saying, why are you telling them that when I'm fighting for Bobbi Kristina and Whitney? Why would you do that? Why would you call a company and tell them not to let me speak out? So to me, that raised red flags to me, and I didn't appreciate that. That's wrong. You don't do that because you're supposed to be on our side. Aren't you, upset about Bobbi Kristina? I mean, I know that you don't like neither one of them, but that's why I got angry with her. And then on top of everything else, there's a lot of other stuff that she's doing. There is so much stuff going on, so much stuff, and all this. I'm carrying all this. I'm the only one fighting. I don't have anybody standing with me. Well, they want to cover up the truth because, evidently, there has been so many lies told, so that's why they want to cover up the truth. That's fine with me. I know how they do that, but, you're not going to be able to cover up the truth with me. No. I have to tell the truth. Oh, what's my thoughts on Pat Houston? There's a lot of stuff I want to tell you about Pat. There's a lot of things that she did to Whitney. She was never Whitney's manager. Never. She, first of all, she told the officers that she was Whitney's assistant when they first found Whitney. And then she started this manager thing when, later on, but she's running with that. But we all know that she was not signed up under Whitney to work with Whitney in that way at all. No, she was with Whitney. Yeah, everybody asks me, well, why was she with Whitney? She was with Whitney. Whitney didn't like her, but she allowed her to be with her because, she had to keep food on her brother's table. And she didn't take them with her a lot, but she accepted Pat to just do certain things. But never would Whitney have her to be her manager. No. No. And if you all, I want you all, I'm going to leave you all with this. I want you all to remember this. You remember when Pat sat on Oprah and she told Oprah that she walked slowly and that she walked slowly, and when her brother was giving Whitney CPR and she told him to stop.
I saw my brother Security Ray, my brother trying to revive her to the point of exhaustion. And I called his name. I said, Ray. Paramedics was coming in at that point. I said, Ray, let it go.
And then Ray J sat on Dr. Phil and said he gave Whitney CPR. So there's two stories. Pat is saying her brother did, and he did it so long that she told him to stop. Remember? And Ray J said, Nick said that he did it, and he had to call his mother in Florida. She had to coach him. Remember that?
Mom Michelle is making a startling claim about the death of Whitney Houston. She claims that her son Nick was there when the superstar died, adding that he tried to save her life by administering CPR. We asked the coroner's office about that claim, and it told us today it was not aware of anyone performing CPR in Houston.
Those are two different stories. So who's lying? Who's lying? Oh, I got so much stuff to tell you guys. I got so much stuff to tell you. They're all lying, first of all. Because in my mind, my belief, and I've always believed this from the beginning when I started my investigation, I came up with they were trying to kill Chrissy first. And then they wanted to because Chrissy was found first. Did you all know that? She was found first at the hotel. She was found first in the tub. And Chrissy said that she woke up, but she came to. And there were people standing over her. I don't know who those people were, but they were standing over her. And that was before Whitney was found. So they were trying to get Chrissy first. And then they were going to try to kill, I guess, say that Whitney was feeling so bad from Bobbi Kristina's death that she just did something to herself. But it didn't turn out that way. Chrissy came through. And then that's when they bum rushed Whitney. But, oh, yeah. Whitney, she fought for her life. She fought hard. She tried to stay here. God damn it. And if I could have been with her in that room, she would have been here. We'd have got out of there. We would have got out of there together. Yeah. I would have got out of there. Because we would have fought, damn it. We would have fought. They knew that they had to do it when she wasn't with me. And I'm gonna explain that, why I was not her assistant anymore, because I had gotten married. Whitney had basically kind of pushed me into this marriage. So that's why I stopped working for Whitney. In the first place, she never, ever, ever fired me. She always wanted me with her. But my husband didn't want me to be with her anymore. He wanted me to spend time with him. So we're going to get into all that. I'm going to tell you, I got so much to tell you guys. Believe me, hold on. But I'm going to let you know that Whitney did not have any drugs in her. No, there was nothing in her. Nobody else is going to talk about it but me. So, of course, it was about the money. They wanted Whitney and Bobbi Kristina's money. Of course. Of course. Of course. You know, but I sit back and I think about a lot of things, like when I had, because I'm the one that Whitney gave full custody of Bobbi Kristina. Pat was there. She was present. They came in and they bum rushed Whitney. And I believe it was Whitney's attorneys that were there. And it was a court order. They wanted Whitney in a drug program. Okay, so Whitney called me and said, Lily, get here. She signed papers with me. Pat thought that she was going to bum rush her. Whitney wasn't going to have time. And she would put her as over Bobbi Kristina. But Whitney said, no, not you. My sister Leolah. Whitney called me and told me to get there. And I signed papers with her to full custody of Bobbi Kristina. Okay, so Pat knows that because she was present. She's seen me sign. Whitney was so angry with her when she did that because they did it, they did it. It was a spiteful, malicious thing that they did to her. I know that she needed help. We knew that. But the way that they did it, they made her angry. Pushing somebody up against the wall like that, waking them up on a day, just rushing in their house.
Y'all, when I tell y'all I've spent countless hours researching and reviewing, going over interviews, rewatching B and Bobby Brown, Houston's On Our Own, all the different movies, just trying to get everything together and get a better understanding. When I tell y'all I would literally have to do a part 2 to break down everything, it's crazy. What I need you guys to do is leave a comment. Tell me what you think about what I have brought to you. Tell me what you think about what the doctor said and also what Leolah said on her Facebook Live. And you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. And before you go, don't forget to hit the bell for notifications, like this video, and subscribe. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.